Our church, First Baptist Church of Clovis, is over 120 years old. The original building on 4th and DeWitt was built in 1903. And in fact, you can see the cornerstone out by our mailbox out in front of the church. But the church actually began meeting in a home across the street from that church that's still there today in the late 1800s. And at that time, it's reasonable to assume that Sunday services have likely never really ceased, with perhaps the exception to the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic, which did actually hit the west coast of America. So obviously, this is unprecedented in our lifetimes. But it started making me think, the church has a remarkable history and record of attendance, of committing to coming to church every single week. Not just our church, but all churches have not stopped attending church for centuries, millennia in fact. But here was the question that hit me this week. Was there ever a time the church stopped being the church? They kept on attending, but did they keep on being the church? And this is obviously harder to quantify, and I'm sure there's nuances to the answer, but it's still a good question for all of us, and one that really deserves reflection during this time when attendance is simply not possible. We say it all the time. The church is not a building. It's the people. But it's so easy to make this mistake and to forget this truth. I confess it's really easy for me, depending on the day especially. In my job where I get to juggle things like important topics like HR and budgets and mortgage and the physical building and the property itself, it's really easy for me to make the mistake of forgetting to be the church first. I attend, I gather with others because I am being the church. It starts with being the church, and that's actually going to be our theme during this time of sheltering in or until further notice. The church. We're not attending church, but we're being the church. We want to connect through this medium for as long as we can to encourage and equip everyone to fulfill our mandate to love God and to love others. To worship God, to love and lead your family, and to check in on your neighbors, your co-workers, your church family in whatever ways you're physically able